What's up, my beautiful YouTube family? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Lyrae. On this channel, we talk about any and everything self-therapy. So if you guys are not ready to do the work, this may not be the channel for you. With that said, guys, as you can see, we're slowly approaching the new year, guys. I hope you guys are ready. It's a brand new year for us to restart, reset, do what we need to do, or even continue to move forward, head on to those goals that we did not achieve this year. But as you see the title of this video, you know exactly what we're getting ready to chop it up about. I hope that you watched my previous videos. If you have not, make sure that you go ahead and do so after you finish watching this one, of course. Leave me a thumbs up, guys, if you do like the video. Do not forget, you show your support to me by subscribing to my channel and turning on your post notification bell, so whenever I post new content, you guys are notified. So with that said, let's get right into the video. So guys, we're getting ready to chop it up. If you see me looking down, it's because I have my notes on my other phone, so don't pay that on mine. But yeah, guys, I wanted to talk about why is it that we don't feel like we are enough. And when I say we, I'm not trying to be specific or about any specific community or any gender. Just we as a people or as a person, why is it that we struggle with feeling that we're enough and oftentimes end up chasing things that we believe that would satisfy those feelings? What is it? Drop your comment below. Let me hear what you think drives that feeling, and how are some of the ways that you think we can combat that. Or even if you feel that way, just your thoughts are, again, remember, we're here to learn together. So one of the things I wanted to start off is with, when I say feeling like we're not enough, obviously that's a struggle with self-worth and self-esteem, right? And it could be anything. It could be we're not enough financially, which plays a part in our confidence. It could be just the way that we look, you know. What are we comparing ourselves to, or who are we comparing ourselves to that says that's the model figure or that's the model look of beauty? Or we may not have achieved something, whether that's from an educational standpoint, we have not achieved that degree, or we don't have that big job, you know? So we just wanted to chop it up and see if maybe just kind of changing our thought process a little bit, we could challenge some of those negative thoughts that we have, to kind of look at things from a different perspective in terms of what are we using as the model to determine our success, right? So let's start off with the looks, because especially for women, and I think more women than not, we tend to struggle with what beauty is to us, right? And I know some of that is stemming from what we saw growing up, what we were taught, what we saw on television, how people spoke to us. Some of the language that they use to describe us is what kind of started to create those insecurities, and I get it. Know that there is awareness that's brought to the table regarding what's considered beauty. It has made it more broader and kind of like put it out there for our young women to see that, listen, there's no one way or one figure or one way to describe beauty, if that makes sense. Beauty actually comes from within, right? And I say this not to be cliche, but it's the truth. It's facts. Like, just because you don't look a certain kind of way, who says that you're not beautiful? What makes you not beautiful? Where does it say that one is beautiful and one is not? So now that we're here, and because of the thought process that was brought up, it did not only affect the minds of what we felt about ourselves, you know, growing up, but it also affected what our boys saw as beautiful. It kind of molded what they looked at as what is supposed to be beautiful. So they go for the straight hair and the light skin and the slim figure and all of that. So you find that that's what they went for, and kind of minimized anybody that doesn't look like that box that they have placed in as what's considered beautiful. So now you have the young girl that's struggling with how she feels, and then you have the young boy that helps to pack on that insecurity because of what he was taught is beautiful. And then the added pressure of you not seeing a representation of yourself. So that's been a struggle for the longest, right? So that's one way. That's something from young age. Like I said, how you were molded to think that's how you're supposed to look, and when you don't look that way, your insecurities are driven by those negative thoughts, right? So before we get into challenging those, that's one aspect, right? The other piece is, I noticed that if you go on a job interview, right, one of the most intimidating questions is the money talk. They find it so hard to say, hey, this is what I would expect for what I'm bringing to the table, because there's such a fear surrounding, I don't want to ask for too much, right? I don't want to ask for too much and then not get the job because I really need the job. But here's where it is. If you don't know what you're worth, somebody else is going to tell you what you're worth based on what they think, right? Based on what they think, they're going to pay you what they think you're worth. If you don't know what you're worth, then somebody else will tell you. And we need to start normalizing. You know what you bring to the table. You know what you have to offer. And it's okay for you to ask. But if you don't even think you're worth anything, or you don't feel like what you have to offer is enough, obviously, guess what's gonna happen? They're gonna always lowball you. For the most part, they're going to lowball you. I'm not even gonna get into that, but I'm just saying, guys, you kind of have to get to that place. I was there too. I was at that place where I'm scared. I heard somebody spoke about, I forgot who it was. Somebody did her hair. I think it was Taraji P. Henson. I was watching something with her on YouTube, and she was speaking about somebody came to do, I think it's her hair or her makeup, and she asked her, how much, and she's like, I don't know how much to charge you. I don't know. And that is something that happens all the time because we don't know what we're worth, and we're so scared of putting a price. We lowball ourselves all the time just to try and fit in at somebody else's table, right? So that's another thing again. So not knowing what you're worth when it comes to workplaces, not understanding what true beauty is, so you find yourself comparing yourself to everything else or what society says beauty is. Another thing is what society says a good relationship looks like. I think I've spoken briefly about this in one of my previous videos, but just to quickly dive over it again, it's like we have this thought process, this box of what a relationship looks like, right? And we compare that to our current situation. And if our man or a woman is not looking like that or acting like that or doing those things, then that means that there's a problem. It's broken, right? So you try to tailor your situationship to match what you see on TV, on Instagram, and all of that. So when you don't get what you're seeing, that plays a part on your insecurities. That plays a part on what you feel. Oh, what's wrong with me? Why am I not getting that? Why can't I get that kind of man or that kind of woman, right? Why am I constantly craving and chasing these things that I, for some reason, feel like I don't have, or makes me feel like I'm not good enough, and me gaining those things or getting those things, then maybe I'll feel more sufficient. Here's what I feel. Some things that we can use to combat those negative thought process, those negative thoughts about ourselves. Start thinking about, what is it that you're comparing yourself to? What is the evidence? Is this just an emotion? Is this just a feeling? Or is there is evidence that you are not good enough? There's evidence that you are not worth getting that job. Is there evidence that you are not beautiful? How can you find that evidence? Oftentimes there's none. There's no evidence, right? For something to be proven as a fact, you want to have some kind of evidence to support that claim, but you don't. So these are nothing more than just negative emotions that's making us feel from our biases or what we have as the role model of what beauty is, what worth is, what, this is what we have on that pedestal as to what it should be compared to, right? That's what you have in your mind. We kind of have to unlearn some of the things that we were taught as kids or taught in past experiences, and relearn new and better ways of thinking about ourselves, right? So that's one thing. Another thing is, like I was saying, comparing yourself unfairly. You're looking at, going back to the women and the physical aspect of things, or what you see on the outside. It appears that, okay, this person has it all together. That's what men like. But if you really think about it and you're honest with yourself, it doesn't mean that that is considered, that's the model for success. That's the model for beauty. That's the model for self-worth. The people that you're comparing yourself to is in a completely different situation than you are. Their circumstances are totally different from yours. So for you to compare yourself, that's very unfair to you. You want to be at a level of a person that has already passed and gone through some of the things that you're just now going through, or they may have more assistance and more support than you have, or there's so much different things that could create an unfair measure of you comparing what you are worth versus what they are worth, right? And it takes time. It takes time, which takes me into my next point. Next up is, you have to give yourself grace. You have to take a step back at times. If you feel like you're not where you need to be, or you didn't achieve what you want to achieve, it should not be because John, Peter, and in family, everybody's journey is different, and we all have to understand that. Stop comparing yourself to other people's journey, because like I said before, their circumstances is completely different from yours, right? You have to give yourself grace. You have to give yourself time to evolve and their time to grow. It takes time. Everybody don't learn at the same pace. Everybody don't learn in the same way. Everybody don't have the same teacher, right? Your experience may be completely different, and your way of evolving may be totally at a slower pace, and maybe totally different from the other person. So for you to compare yourself to that person, or you to say you taking step by step and slowly evolving is not success, or is not considered growth, then that wouldn't be fair, right? And you have to give yourself that time to actually evolve and to grow, because every single person have room to grow. Every one of us have areas of opportunity that we can improve, and we need to capitalize on that. Focus on yourself, right? Learn to focus on you and not everybody else, because I promise you will be stuck worrying about what everybody else is doing and where they are, and next thing you know, they're at a higher level and you're still here because you were so focused on, so set on what they're doing. Right? Focus on what you've accomplished. It don't matter how small the accomplishment is, it's still an accomplishment, right? Utilize your strengths to your benefit then, right? If that makes sense. Those are some of the things, like focus on those things that will help you to evolve and to grow into the person that you want to. But always remember this, make sure that you're not trying to get to a certain place or be a certain person or be a certain way just because of somebody else. Make sure that's what you want. You want it, not somebody else want it for you. Okay? So I want to make sure that I point that out. Another thing is, we need to understand that, listen, nobody's perfect. Not one person on this earth is perfect. I've never met a perfect person. I said this over and over. I'll say it again. Nobody is perfect, which means no matter how beautiful that picture looks, behind that portrait, I promise you, there's some things behind there that you probably wouldn't want. You probably would be grateful for your struggle. I always said, speak your struggle. Just because it glitter doesn't mean that it's gold. So you always want to remember that what you may have going on, that person may take your life in a heartbeat because of the struggles that they have behind closed doors. I learned that, and that's a fact. We just have to be grateful for what we have and where we are. And like I said, the things that you don't like, you can work on those things. Not for anybody else, but for yourself, because that's what's going to bring you peace. Start taking the time to really sit down and think about you as a person and look at your insecurities and see, figure out, where's it coming from? That little girl in me is where my insecurities stem from. And then once I started finding out, okay, there's some things I think about myself that I didn't like. It was now going into next stage of how can I fix those things. Don't let anybody tell you who you are. Seek God first. Seek God first, and that's how you're gonna get the blueprint of who you were created to be. But on this earth, you don't let nobody tell you who you are, because a lot of times people project. They project their own insecurities on you. If they can't do something, they just assume that you can't do it, right? Then you have people who would, oh, I want to see you be the biggest thing, but not bigger than them. That's another thing. You just cannot go by what man and flesh says. You have to find that by yourself. You got to go searching for that treasure for yourself. And I'm telling you right now, my only thing is my word. That's when I started getting clarity around who I am. And I'm going to continue to say this. But at the end of the day, you have to learn what you're worth first. Everybody has insecurities, but you don't want insecurities that's controlling your every move or controls what you do or for you to make a decision. You don't want those insecurities, right? And you have to learn how to challenge those negative thoughts. When you don't know what your worth is, or you don't feel like you're enough for a situation, it really molds your entire life. It really, really molds what you attract, who you attract, what you accept, right? Guys, your self-worth comes from within. It doesn't come from anybody else. So you looking for other people to tell you what you're worth, they're gonna lowball you, right? They're gonna put you in a box. They're gonna put you where they think you're supposed to be and not what God created you to be. So I wanted to come out here and talk about that a little bit, just a little bit reminder that you are enough. You are enough. You are enough. You are enough. Change the things that you want to change, not because somebody says that you're supposed to change it or somebody's trying to fit you in a box. And then sometimes God created you to be exactly where you are, exactly how you are at the exact timing that you are. Utilize your strengths. Utilize. Sometimes what you think is a bad thing is actually your gift, and it was given to you to bring glory to God, or was given to you for a bigger picture. And sometimes we can't see that. You know, one of my things for 2024, if I don't see you guys again before the new year, is I want to say this to you. I made a vow to myself that I will no longer try to get a seat at somebody's table. Remember, I tell you this is the end of 2023, probably my last video on this channel. I am no longer trying to get a seat at somebody's table. I made a vow to myself that 2023 taught me so much about self-worth and me being enough. Just the way I am enough. This is with relationships, this with friendships, this with my work life. I am enough, right? So, and I say this to say, I will no longer, this is a promise I made to myself, you'll never get me trying to fit myself into your box. I was never that person, but even more so now, I'm no longer trying to fit a seat at your table. I'm behind the scenes creating my own table. That's what I'm doing. I am creating my own table, and that's a promise I made to myself. So 2024 is going to be dedicated to me, God's willing, with health and strength, and I'm able to do it, because without God, I'm not going to be able to do it. I realized my difference was my gift. I used to wonder, why am I so different? Why this? Why that? No more. I realize that's my strength, and I'm going to use it to my advantage and to my benefit. So that's my goal. I'm not creating a resolution list. That's my goal. Focusing on me, pouring into me, taking care of me, physically, mentally, and emotionally. That's my goal for 2024. Anybody want to join the wagon? I'm here, but I have work to do. I have work to do, and I'm going to work on that. But now I know I could go to a table, I could tell you I'm worth this, and we could negotiate, or we could separate. One of the two, right? I could compromise, but you still got to know my worth, right? So that's my thought process around this, guys. I hope that you guys liked this video. If you do, please leave me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on your post notification bell so whenever I post new content, you guys are notified first. Guys, I post every Saturday on this channel. I do have 2 channels. My next channel is Lyrae Lifestyle Vlogs. Hop on over there to see what I'm up to in my daily life. I usually do vlogs to put you a little bit more into my personal life, share a little bit more with you guys on that channel. But on this, we talk about everything that needs to be talked about, the things that may be difficult, and we do the work. It's internal process there, guys. So we work together on this. But with that said, I love you guys. Happy New Year. If this is the last time you're seeing me on this channel, I wish you a prosperous and blessed New Year. Do not forget to keep God in everything that you do, because the Bible says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and all else will be added onto you. Guys, that's all I'm leaving you with. And don't forget, create your own table. Stop trying to get a chair at somebody else's table. Enough there for all our way. So let's jump on that. Love you guys. Happy 2024. You might see me on my Instagram just ringing in the new year. I'm just going to be home. I might be at church or I might be at home. I don't know what I'm doing. But with that said, guys, I love you so much. Thank you for your support. And until next time, have a happy, blessed, and prosperous new year. See you on my next episode. Love you guys, and bye for now.